Attention, Washington Commanders fans. Get ready for a week full of excitement and controversy. Don't take your eyes off the screen because things are heating up. First things first, did you see the scandal in the game against the Eagles? Yes, folks, the refereeing decisions are under fire. Our cornerback suffered no less than 3 pass interference penalties that changed the course of the game. Were they fair? Not a chance. Even the experts are exploding against these decisions. Don't miss the details and stay until the end to find out what the football greats have to say. But that's not all. Injuries continue to affect our team. Martian Latimore, our star cornerback, is on the edge. After his recent return, a new hamstring injury has him in doubt for the upcoming games. Will he be able to recover in time? Should we risk him or save him for the playoffs? Find out what the team is planning and how this could change the Commanders' destiny. And to top it all off, the Commanders are one step away from the playoffs. With one more win, we secure our spot in the postseason. Can our boys keep up the pace and beat the Falcons or the Cowboys? The odds are in our favor, but every game counts. Don't miss the full analysis and stay with us to experience every moment of this exciting race to the playoffs. Friends and fans of the Washington Commanders, what a week we've had! How about we dive right into the controversy shaking the NFL? Let's go! Last Sunday, the Commanders pulled off the upset of the year by defeating the Philadelphia Eagles, breaking their 10-game winning streak with an exciting 36-33. But what's the news that's still resonating everywhere? The refereeing decisions. Yes, folks, the refereeing decisions. In a game loaded with emotions and, of course, penalties, both the Commanders and the Eagles got their fair share of yellow flags, 93 and 91 yards in penalties, respectively. But what really fired up the tempers were the pass interference calls against our cornerback, Martian Latimore. He was penalized 3 times. And one of those decisions gave the Eagles no less than 38 yards. 38 yards! Can you believe it? Now, I ask you, were those decisions fair? I say no, and I'm not the only one. Richard Sherman, the former All-Pro cornerback and now analyst on Amazon Prime, exploded against the refereeing decisions. On his podcast, Sherman didn't hold back. Those pass interferences against Latimore were complete garbage. I'm tired of this game becoming so soft and ridiculous. If the receiver is physical, then you have to let the defender defend. How are those pass interferences? Sherman is absolutely right. The NFL has been changing the rules to always favor the offense. Everyone wants to see more points on the scoreboard, but at what cost? Defenders don't get a break. The rules are designed so that receivers have all the advantages, and the defenders, they have to manage as best as they can. And here comes the million-dollar question. What do we do with pass interferences? Should they be reviewable? I think they should. But we know that would mean the NFL would have to admit its mistakes, and that's something we rarely see. So, Commanders fans, I leave you with this thought. Are we willing to keep seeing refereeing decisions affect the course of games without fair and transparent review? Or are we going to demand changes so that the game is really fair for everyone? We have fresh news and, hopefully, positive updates about our star cornerback, Martian Latimore. But before we get into details, let me give you some context. Martian Latimore, who had a delayed debut with the Commanders due to a hamstring injury, now faces another setback just 2 games after his return. Last Sunday, during the matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles, Latimore had to leave the game in the second half due to a new injury to his left hamstring. What bad luck! Commanders head coach Dan Quinn spoke to the press on Monday but couldn't give a concrete update on Latimore's status. However, he mentioned that he expects to have more clarity by Thursday. And here's the interesting part. The team has decided to adjust practice sessions so players can spend time with their families on Christmas. So, Tuesday and Wednesday are swapped, with a light session on Tuesday and back to full speed on Thursday. Quinn commented, "Honestly, I think I'll have a better indicator as we move forward on Thursday and Friday with some of the guys. So what we're going to do with the team is swap Wednesday and Tuesday. Tomorrow will be our first installation day, and it will be a walkthrough session, and then we'll go full speed on Thursday. Basically, we're going to swap Tuesday and Wednesday." And what does this mean for Latimore? Well, both he and right tackle Andrew Wiley will get a break to recover, and the team will evaluate their status more thoroughly on Thursday and Friday. Let's hope for good news as a Christmas gift. Now, let's talk about what Latimore means to the team. Although he allowed A.J. Brown to catch 5 passes for 68 yards and a touchdown, and was penalized 3 times for pass interference, one of them highly questionable, he also broke up several passes and held Brown to a 50% reception rate. That's elite defense! Without Latimore, the Commanders felt his absence, especially on that crucial 4th and 7 play where Brown escaped Benjamin St. Just for a 15-yard gain. It's logical to think that Latimore could have stopped Brown on that play. So, friends, let's cross our fingers for positive news on Thursday. But don't be surprised if the Commanders decide to take things slow. Hamstring injuries are delicate, and it's more important to have Latimore ready for the playoffs than for the next 2 games against the Atlanta Falcons and the Dallas Cowboys. And now, I ask you, do you think the Commanders should risk Latimore in the upcoming games? Or is it better to save him for the playoffs? Leave your opinions in the comments. I want to know what you think. What an exciting moment we're living. After the impressive victory over the Philadelphia Eagles, the Commanders are closer than ever to securing their spot in the playoffs. Let's break all this down. Last Sunday, the Commanders achieved their 3rd consecutive victory by defeating the Eagles 36-33, improving their record to 10-5. This is the best start to the season for Washington since 1991, the year they won their last Super Bowl. What memories! But the most important thing is that this victory has solidified the Commanders in the 7th and final playoff spot for the NFC. With 2 games remaining in the season, the Commanders need to win just 1 more to secure their playoff ticket. Currently, they have an advantage over the Falcons and the Seahawks, who have a record of 8-7. Seattle, which led the NFC West 2 weeks ago, is now out of contention, while the Rams have taken the lead in the division. Seattle's loss on Sunday left them 2 games behind the Commanders for the last wildcard spot. On the other hand, the Cardinals, who entered Week 16 with a record of 7-8, lost to the Panthers and were eliminated from playoff contention. Goodbye, Arizona! So, what are the odds that Washington will make the playoffs now? According to NFL.com, a Week 16 win would have increased the Commanders' odds to 91%. But ESPN is even more optimistic, placing Washington's odds at 99% entering Week 17. Almost a sure thing, friends. If the Commanders win one of their last 2 games against the Atlanta Falcons or the Dallas Cowboys, they're in the playoffs. But there's even more at stake. The Commanders also have hopes of surpassing the Packers for the number 6 spot. Green Bay closes the season with games against the Vikings and the Bears. So fans, I ask you, are you ready for the playoffs? Do you think the Commanders can not only secure their spot, but also advance and surprise everyone? Commanders fans, I leave you with this thought. Are we willing to keep seeing refereeing decisions affect the course of games without fair and transparent review? Or are we going to demand changes so that the game is really fair for everyone? And now, I ask you, do you think the Commanders should risk Latimore in the upcoming games, or is it better to save him for the playoffs? So, fans, I ask you, are you ready for the playoffs? Do you think the Commanders can not only secure their spot, but also advance and surprise everyone? We want to know your opinion, so leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the news and be part of this community that's like a family. Join us and let's live every exciting moment of the season together. And remember, hail to the Redskins!